Let's talk about where to host your podcast this year. And before I actually get into the nitty gritty, I want to give you an overview here. So when we talk about hosting your podcast in this year, it's important that you actually pay attention to three important things. Number one, the platform where you host your podcast should be in sync with the topic you're discussing. What I'm trying to say here is that if you have, let's say, a sports podcast, there are certain platforms that are great and certain platforms that are not great, depending on the niche that you chose. So topic is the first thing you need to pay attention to. The second thing is you want to pay attention to your audience. So your audience will actually will have to be comfortable finding you on that platform, because remember, you're not going to be listed in on the platform where you host your podcast, but that podcast will play an important role in distributing your podcast to let's say Apple Podcast or Google Podcast or Spotify Podcast. So that platform will be the middle person, the middleman, if you will, in terms of distributing, hosting, but also distributing your podcast to your audience. So your audience will have to will have to find your podcast on those podcast directories, but the platform where you host your podcast will be the one to push that podcast to those directories. So it's important that you pick a topic, you pick a platform that is in sync with your audience. The third thing I want you to pay attention to is yourself, your vision, your style, your personality, your podcast personality, your goal. So the host that you chose has to be in sync with your own goals. All right, very important. So this trifecta is quite essential. We're speaking about the niche, the target audience, and your personality. And before I share with you those podcast hosts, let me quickly talk to you about something called RSS feed. So what is RSS feed? Well, RSS acts as a middleman between your podcast episodes and distributors like Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts. So when trying to upload, these popular sites will ask you for your RSS URL. So you will 100% need this to host your podcast on this and multiple platforms. This is really important. All you have to do is enter all the basic information about your podcast. We're speaking about title, description, cover art, and a few tags to help it categorize it all. And you will upload the audio file to the RSS feed. So when you take the URL given to you to the big distributors, all the information you uploaded to RSS will populate, and it provides this information to them so they can verify everything. Okay, this is really important. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. Make yourself comfortable. We're going to have a quick convo about where to host your podcast this year. So here's a review I want you to really pay attention to. So the first podcast host I want to share with you is called Libsyn. And Libsyn is kind of cool because Libsyn actually one of the oldest, most tried and true hosting sites out there. And a large number of popular podcasts are hosted there. And so primarily because of their excellent distribution infrastructure and abilities for scaling once your podcast gets a bigger audience. And so this is really good. We love the fact that Libsyn will work with you no matter what. I mean, if you're a small podcaster, they'll work with you. If you're a big podcaster, they'll work with you. So once you upload your podcast, Libsyn will give you the ability to upload your podcast to over 20 different podcast platforms such as iTunes, Podcast Addict, and Pocket Cast. They also offer tools to monetize your podcast by allowing businesses to splice their commercials and ads into your podcast with no work needed on your end. This is really good because, again, if you're a creator, you need to monetize your content. And also, most of Libsyn's features are available at all price points, making it perfect for budget-conscious podcasters. So when you think about Libsyn, I want you to think about several things. You have podcast advertising. So again, Libsyn has an automatic ads program that matches you and with advertisers seeking to engage your podcast audience. And ads can be placed pre, mid, and post-roll. And because they are dynamic, you can even monetize your back catalog. You have remote recording guests. It becomes really easy through Libsyn. So you can schedule, invite, and record your co-hosts or guests with Libsyn Connect Beta, and you get high-quality raw audio tracks, which are really ideal for post-production. And the cool thing is, your guests can join in a couple of clicks from your customized invite. Fantastic. And you can also boost your podcast marketing strategy through a social scheduling. It's just fantastic. So Libsyn gives you a constellation of options to monetize your podcast and also grow it. So this is really good. I want to show you on the screen right now. Here is a pricing for Libsyn as of the date of this show. So you can see that it's all about the number of hours of podcasts you actually submit to the platform. But again, this is really great and really specific. Also, 3 hours, 10 hours, and 15, like 6 hours. So this is just fantastic. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We're having a conversation about where to host your podcast this year. Let me share with you another host. You have Buzzsprout. So Buzzsprout is actually one of the more, I would say, user-friendly options on today's review. And this platform has helped many people get their podcast off the ground. So it caters to beginners and long-time podcasters alike. So with advanced analytics to show you who's listening worldwide and how they're listening, it's one of the top choices for any level of podcaster. We love Buzzsprout for the depth and breadth of their analytics. It's just fantastic. And Buzzsprout probably has one of the most accessible distribution features here. And simply upload your podcast episode, and Buzzsprout does all the work to get your audio onto just about every single major platform. And due to its own optimization process, it also measures. It really look at this platform looks at a lot of things, including size requirements to hours. So it's not about megabytes here. We're speaking about hours. So what I want you to think about when you think about Buzzsprout, I want you to think about easy and powerful tools. So basically you have everything you need to have a successful podcast. Think about Buzzsprout as an all-in-one solution. That's how we think about it. This is an all-in-one solution. And most importantly, you have reporting and analytics. So you have easy to understand stats. That's what you want anyway, because you don't want to spend time actually trying to understand a podcast platform. No, you just want to have all the data and the data fed to you very simply. So you have reporting and analytics. You have podcast directory, so you get listed everywhere. You have a constellation of monetization tools. So you have listener support and Buzzsprout ads, and you have publishing for everyone. So you can easily create and publish episodes, not a problem. What we love also about Buzzsprout is that you have free learning materials. So basically, Buzzsprout has actually podcasting guides, video tutorials, podcasting courses, industry podcast, and they also have the Buzzsprout podcast community. So you have, when you really think about it, you have everything you need to create a successful podcast, really. And again, you get your podcast listed with the Buzzsprout in all of the top podcast directories here. And we're speaking about Apple Podcast. We're speaking about Spotify Podcast Index, Google Podcast, Amazon Music, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Overcast, Castbox, and many more. So the bottom line here is you can reach potentially millions of listeners every single day. In terms of the pricing, I want you to look right now on the screen. Here is a pricing for Buzzsprout as of the date of this show. So it is pretty affordable if you were to ask me. The third host I want to share with you is Simplecast. So when you think about Simplecast, like the name suggests, is a highly easy to use podcast hosting and management sites. And it does two things exceptionally well in our view: hosting your audio files, no matter the size, and also offer you great analytics to measure your podcast success. This is just fantastic. And the website is sleek, modern, easy to maneuver, and one of the cheapest options for unlimited storage. And you can see on the screen here how wonderful, how really great the website is designed. We love that a lot. And so what I want to say, I want to show you quickly the price. So you can see on the screen here the pricing for this platform, the basic and the essential. Based on our experience, it's you can start with the basic, or if you are, let's say, if you are a beginner, but once you actually grow your audience a little bit, your listenership, it's just better to switch to upgrade to the essential plan. And so when we talk about, now one thing I need to say is that All Simplecast plans allow you to distribute your podcast to all listening apps. Yes, you'll just get, if you're just getting started on Simplecast Basic, or you've grown your show into a chart topper, all plans offer direct publishing to all platforms. So here I'm speaking about the biggies like Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Podcast, and Overcast, to even the small A's. Okay, everything is possible. And what I want to say here is that the thing is, you need to understand what we love about Simplecast is the flexibility. So basically, you need to understand that first of all, this host will not run ads on your podcast without your permission. No, they will let you know. They will have a conversation with you. They will actually get your agreement before they run ads. And what we love here is that Simplecast provides unlimited audio storage with all plans. Okay, this is really good because some hosts want to limit you by number of hours, a number of megabytes, and Simplecast doesn't do that. They really are simplifying the whole process. This is just fantastic. So the plan that is right for you depends on your goal, depends on your journey. And as I said before, if you go with the basic, but once you grow your listenership, you can actually go to something bigger. You can go with a pro, and you can switch to a different plan anytime. Anytime, not a problem at all. So you can change the plan, not a problem. So that's just fantastic. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. I'm actually talking to you about where to host your podcast this year. Let me talk to you about Megaphone. There's another platform where you can actually host your podcast. So Megaphone is one of the more enterprise-centric sites on this list. And basically, we're talking about B2B. And you can tell it right from the first page of their website, which is half dedicated to advertisers and half for publishers. So if you're looking to monetize your podcast, Megaphone has the framework and team dedication to get your podcast to start making money once you solidify your audience. Okay, so huge names trusted in the podcasting game, such as Gimlet, Vox Media, and the Wall Street Journal. So if you are hosting a podcast with your buddies, this might not be the best choice, but if you're starting a podcast for your company and you already have a large audience, this is one of the best ones to actually choose. And in terms of pricing, you can see on the screen here that everything is customized. You're going to have to contact Megaphone to actually have a better price, to have a clear idea about how much you can actually monetize your content for. But you can choose between professional and enterprise. You can see that on the screen here. You can see that if you choose professional, you're paying about $99 a month. That's a flat price. And if you want to go with enterprise, then you have to get a quote from sales. So when we talk about the professional versus enterprise, so professional is for professional podcasters and creators looking to take their business to the next level. So here with Megaphone, we have hosting and distribution capabilities. You have a robust campaign management toolkit. You have detailed reporting and analytics. You have monetization tools via the Spotify Audience Network. You have live chat support. And this is really great from 4 a.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. You have unlimited users with role-based permissions. You have audience insights via free access to the Chartable platform. Here we have, so this is kind of cool. This is for the professional sort of pricing tier. What about the enterprise pricing tier? For enterprise level publishers and networks with large teams, many shows, or complex needs, you have all features of the professional plan, plus comprehensive monetization tools and services that scale with the publisher's growth. You have white glove service, including technical account manager. You have 24/7 support. You have access to the Megaphone API and metrics export service, and you have unlimited smart promos via free access to the Chartable platform. So this is really cool. You are talking here about the when we talk about enterprise, we're talking about a scalable podcast. So you got to reach a certain level of distribution to actually reach out to Megaphone for the enterprise plan. Let's talk about Fireside. So Fireside is another platform where you can host your podcast this year. And what we love about Fireside is that it's more niche related. And they've been doing they've been in this game since 2016. So Fireside is focused on hosting your podcast alongside creating a beautiful website for it. So they've got analytic tools website building features, and a distribution network that gets your podcast on every major streaming app. And so if you already have episodes hosted elsewhere, you've got a one-click importer that grabs your episodes from another site without losing any subscribers. They've also got a pretty competitive price for unlimited storage and downloads. So it's a fair price for someone looking to actually build a brand, if you really think about it. So the thing here is that when you think about Fireside, I want you to think about a constellation of features. So you're talking about you hosting your podcast in a very simple, very straightforward way. So you have a customizable website. What we love about Fireside is the website also, the addition of a website. So every podcast gets a beautiful, responsive website with episode pages, your images, custom pages, redirects, host and guest pages, and more. So the cool thing is all of this is built in. So no need to recreate to reinvent the wheel, so to speak. No, it's done automatically for you. You have download stats and analytics. So basically what happens here is that Fireside will gather and display massive amounts of data about your unique downloads with one of the industry's most trusted podcast hosting and download tracking systems with IAB compliance coming soon. So this is really good. You have a built-in security. So Fireside provides every podcast with a free SSL certificate for both subdomains and your own custom domain name, ensuring your website and all its content is delivered to your audience securely. What we love here is that we love the fact that Fireside will actually do things in a very professional way, and we love the fact that it's automatic. So you don't have to do, like, everything I'm telling you is built in. Okay, you can import from anywhere. So you can import your existing podcast with just one click, no matter where you currently host. So the cool thing is Fireside imports all of your episodes, titles, descriptions, MP3 files, and important metadata. You can use your custom domain. So this is kind of cool. And you also have lightning fast file hosting. So bottom line here is what? You are able to get access to a platform where you can seamlessly transfer your data. This is what you need anyway, and once you have that, you are good to go. And so Fireside can import your existing podcast from any existing podcast platform or a custom RSS feed with just one click without losing subscribers. This is really great. And so we're talking about Anchor, Audioboom, Blueberry. You have Buzzsprout, FeedPress, Libsyn, Podbean, Podium. You have a lot of them. You have a Podomatic, you have Simplecast, SoundCloud, Transistor, Zencastr, so on and so forth. So I want you to look right now on the screen. Here is a pricing for Fireside as of the date of this show. I want to share with you another platform that's SoundCloud. So when you think about SoundCloud, I want you to think about a unique hosting site, because it is both a hosting site and a distribution streaming service. So you may know SoundCloud from underground rappers and mixtape releases, but it's also an excellent alternative for someone who wants his or her podcast in one place. This is really good. And their comment system allows people to comment on specific timestamps, giving you detailed feedback on what your audience is connected to. And SoundCloud doesn't distribute to other sites such as Spotify and iTunes. So be aware if you decide to host your audio files there. Okay, it's free though, so many people choose it for its ease of use and availability. So this is kind of important. And I want you to look right now on the screen. Here is the pricing. So for most of the time it's free. You can see here where it says the pricing is free here. And one thing I want to say also is that it's important for you to have a clear idea of what really matters for you. So when we talk about SoundCloud, I want you to really I want you to understand that it's not about like, you don't have to be an established podcaster to host things there. And but you can choose also the Next Pro plan. They have the Next Pro plan, as you can see on the screen. And the Next Pro plan will cost you about $825 a month. This is actually the starting price as of the date of this show. And it's important to understand that the price might change. But what we love about the free plan is that you have up to 3 hours of track uploads, so you can actually upload your podcast. But again, this is up to 3 hours every single month. And you can share private tracks with your team, with even your listeners. You can have a private community of listeners, and you can share the tracks with them. You can host the public tracks and hear from fans, and you also have basic fan insights. But the granularity, the detail, the breadth and depth of the stats, if you are on the free plan, that granularity is not as broad, it's not as deep as if you were on the next pro plan. So once you start paying for something, so basically this is where you get everything. So you have advanced fan insights, you have custom listening reports, you have track management tools, you have access to a lot of things. As a matter of fact, you have unlimited distribution to Spotify, Apple Music, TikTok, and more. Okay, and you have unlimited track uploads. This is just fantastic. So you are able to unlock a whole series of tools and capabilities if you were to actually switch to the next pro plan. So this is actually something to really think about, and this could actually catapult, if you will, your podcasting career to another level. But again, it all goes down to your objectives, your goals when it comes to your podcasting. But SoundCloud is really good. We love the fact that it's really straightforward in terms of uploading. So this is really fantastic. Okay, let's talk about a decision here. So what's really important? One thing I want to say here is that which podcast host is right for you. It's really important to understand that everything will depend on your goals. Depend on your situation, but also depend on your podcasting journey. So, right, are you a newbie? Are you an experienced podcaster? This will be very important for you. And so, if you are on a tight budget and only releasing, let's say, monthly episodes, Libsyn is really right for you, because Libsyn offers a $5 per month plan with about 50 megabyte upload limit. It's the perfect size if you only want to release once or twice a month. If you're just having fun, let's say you don't want to spend any money, SoundCloud is the best, because SoundCloud is they have a free. It's the perfect platform for people who want to record a podcast with their buddies and host it somewhere where they don't want to have to worry about payments or monetization. You just saw it, right? It's they have the free version and they have the paid version. And if you are serious about podcasting, but you are on a limited budget, you can choose Simplecast and Buzzsprout. And with a $15 to $25 per month price plan for unlimited storage for Simplecast, and a $12 to $20 a month for 3 hours of content on Buzzsprout, Simplecast and Buzzsprout are the best sites for people who want their podcast to be ready for growth and audience retention. And if you just want both a podcast and a slick website, go with Fireside, because Fireside offers simple avenues for you to create a killer website to host your podcast on it. And if that's important to you, it's a great idea to stick to sites with the infrastructure to support it. And if you want to work with an enterprise company and you want immediate reach, go with Megaphone. So Megaphone is essentially the Cadillac of the hosting sites. Their prices are quote-based, and they work with some of the biggest clients out there in the podcasting world. So suppose you start a podcast for a big company or even a medium-sized one. In that case, Megaphone is the perfect site to get an immediate audience and access to advertisers as quickly as possible. All right, let's quickly recap to this conversation. So I just spoke to you about where to host your podcast this year. So I gave you the overview, and then I gave you the review. So the review, I share with you the sites where you can host your podcast. So Libsyn, Buzzsprout, Simplecast, Megaphone, you have Fireside, and then you have a SoundCloud. And then I gave you a few pro tips in terms of helping you make a decision. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. God bless you. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.